Welcome back everyone, we are here again in our single player world and of course featuring 1.14. And today what we are doing is we are starting a whole new area. We're kicking things off on that side and we are going to say goodbye to the ship, but we've got a few things which we still need to do to them. The sun is obviously going down, so we're going to have to deal with that. But before we deal with the sun, I have to show you where we're going to be working because it's going to make sense for what we are going to be showing you just next. This area here. The one that we've been slowly terraforming is going to be the home to our brand new project. And here we are in our old 1.12 world, and it has actually just recently, very freshly, been updated to 1.14. Like literally just then for me to come in here. I thought, why not? Why not see what this place looks like with the new textures and everything? And this is, I mean, this angle isn't actually that good, but this is our farming area. This was the big fields that I did, and in fact, this was a huge terraforming project. Of course, the land that slowly slopes and all this over here was completely custom. I destroyed land, I built land, and that is how it turned out. And I love this. I think it looks so good with these little paths going through, the real paths as well, the steep, like the little steps up of the blocks. That is something that I absolutely love. And of course, the new village, the new, well, semi-village, as I say, it's sort of a village, but not really, because it's going to be a farming area and it's going to really have a farmer and maybe some other places on it. That is going to be our new project. And it sounds kind of interesting because it's not that big compared to this. But the cool thing about that is we're going to be taking some concepts from here and trying to condense them into a smaller area to maybe try and get a lot more going on in a smaller place with maybe a bit more color variation as well, of course, and also try and convey an idea in a smaller spot. I think that's going to be a lot more of a challenge, and I think it's going to be a fun challenge. There we go, finally rendered in the windmill. That over there is something I am so excited about because I think we've got some really good ideas on the windmill. Something a little bit different. Ooh, it's raining in the world? I never get rain. This is this is special. Let me tell you that. We never get rain in our worlds because we sleep all the time. And of course, we do in this one. That is wonderful. We are back here in the normal world, and what I'm doing is I'm setting the quite literal groundwork. We're trying to get these hills to be a bit more smooth coming out this way. I've also taken the ground up one level from where we were at, and this is going to be the foundation for our fields. Now, as you can tell, I'm testing things out. I'm making these little rings, getting them filled in once I'm happy with them. That's the real thing about this. The real difficult thing I think that people have with building these things is just the planning of these mountains, and eventually they should start looking good and roll quite nicely. Also, I'm very happy to say that I've finally figured out how I'm going to cover this area in, because this was something that was bugging me for a bit, because I was wondering, I'm like, I thought maybe having fields next to the ocean looked a little bit weird, and I think it does. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this forest here, obviously blocking that there. We're going to have some more forest, or at least little hills that are going to block the view from the farm to the ocean there and over here as well. Now we're in the very early stages of this, and it's looking kind of raw, but I think it's going to work out in the end. I've done a little bit of a path here. So this one is going to be where the path goes off, splits off to go to the future windmill, which I think I've got some pretty cool plans for this. I think it's actually going to turn out really cool. So what I want to do is have this windmill up there with big blades, like, well, I mean, not ridiculous, but large blades, and they'll be hanging off the side of a future mountain or a little cliffside over there. I think that will just look so darn good. And then if we go around this way, this path is going to go around here, needlessly turn around this side, and that's just because I want it to look cool. I don't want just a straight path, and then come around this way to the future barn and probably farmhouse, or maybe just farmhouse and we have no barn, or we have a barn somewhere else, or we'll see how it goes. It's really just whatever fits in here. And then over here, this is my factory for making seeds, and I'll try to zoom in there, but yeah, you can tell what it is. Just a whole bunch of crops, and I'm just growing them to get seeds because I think I've got, yeah, not many of anything at all. So that's the plan for that there. Now, while those are growing, we've got a lot of things of which we can and we do need to do. The first thing that we need to do is sort these paths out, and I have actually taken some time since the last clip, and we have got the crops to grow a little bit more, and of course I needed to fix this path because I tried something, it certainly didn't work, and we needed to make it a path again so we could work with it. So what I want to do with this is I want to really give it a go. In fact, let's just go over here because I did forget to make something really, really important. And I want to give a go of just adding in small things which make a fairly large difference to these paths. And that is adding in fences and fence gates. Like, oh no, dang it. I always do this the wrong way when I least need it to. Am I the only one that ever does that? There we go. So fence gates and fences, and we're not even going to necessarily use the gates as gates, but more as fences themselves. So just doing little things like this, and we'll maybe put one over there and one of these over here, make it look like a broken farm fence. And in fact, just something like that. And we'll just do this. And the reason for it, very simple, lets it flow along, you know? I like to think of just the little things that add up and maybe don't necessarily, I'm sure this isn't just me, but they maybe don't necessarily make sense all the time. And it's a struggle I get into where I start saying, hey, this has to make sense. And then the comments suggest, well, Jansey, that doesn't make sense. For instance, the topic I always bring up is, you know, the flags on the ship, which is actually the second job we're going to do while the crops grow. And people say, well, ow, that was unintentional. The point is the flag should point forward because the wind's blowing forward and all that stuff. But then there's a stage where you also kind of have to say, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter too much which way the fences, the flags point. In this case, why there are fences blocking the paths. I think I've done a bit too much with the fences for sure, because this is a smaller area. Maybe not too many of these double ones like that. But the idea is really just, you do it for the sake of just adding in something. Because if we made everything, I mean, really, that we would have just open plain fields like what I kind of had in that last place. It just won't make sense. But look at that, just doing that, creating a bit of something in there already makes these paths look so much better. Now, the other things are going to be rocks, which I conveniently did not bring. So we're going to add a few more rocks on these, maybe a few of these. In fact, this is something we can do just to create something a little bit different in these paths. Yeah, that doesn't help in your and right here. So we do something like that just to break them up a little bit more, because I think in the end, the path block is awesome, but it does lack in a few respects. In fact, we can do this. Here's just a weird little thing. This one over here, if you have a look, the ground is dark around there. As soon as we break it, it goes light. If we do that, it stays light because that's not a full block. So we can actually manipulate this just a little bit so that it doesn't always go dark around these things. Just thought that's a little neat thing. Just something funny that you pick up on, and you can kind of use it, you see, just to make the path block not look quite as monotonous, because as soon as you end up doing that, everything starts looking the same everywhere. So just changing it up a little bit like that does make a big difference. This is just pretty much a path. It's not really too exciting. What is exciting is getting onto that ship and getting it furnished. Okay, now the second thing that I really need to do is, first of all, look at this map. That is where we've been working. So I don't think it'll update, but while we're in here, we may as well give it a little bit of a boop and a look. Oh yeah, you can see the path getting made as we walk closer to it. We'll go and fix that up a bit later. So drop that in there. Of course, wonderful. Let's check our crops out. Actually, what color are crops on the map? Okay, the orange must be the carrots. Oh no, those are pumpkins. Yeah, because I planted pumpkins. So it seems like everything's just going to be green, which is not bad on the map, if you ask me. I think that actually is going to be quite good looking. So one thing to keep in mind is I have actually not played around a lot with 1.14 since it's been out. By the way, this is what the interior of this is looking like right now. And the whole point is I like to get a bit of a surprise. I normally have been very up to date with the updates, but I thought, you know, this time I want to take a little bit of time away from them, because in the end, when I do the whole keep up with the update all the time, it doesn't really work too well. I was going to put fences in there, but I think that might still look a bit better. In fact, let's just try this out. Do I have a single silk touch thing here? Silk touch, fantastic. This is the ultimate, almost ultimate axe anyway, so it should really have silk touch in it. But as I was saying is, I really don't like to keep too up to date with the updates now, because I felt like by the time it was all up to date, I had almost missed out on the excitement of all the new stuff, because you see all the new iterations of things and how they go through. I like to see that, but I don't know. I want to try this out. Oh, dang it. I forget that I'm not using my silk touch. pickaxe. There we go. So how's that? That looks mildly interesting. Fantastic. Now in here, this is where I think the coolest stuff is gonna go. So we need to go ahead and get these lamps, because these lanterns these lanterns are seriously so cool. We'll probably just go ahead and fill these bits in with stuff just to make them look full, I guess. Something like that is going to be the plan, but that's not what we're here for. What we're here for is this. And we're going to make a big desk. Oh, one too far. Over here, and there, and then there, and there. And I think this is going to be one of the coolest new things, which is this cartography table. Like that. Is it actually... Yeah, I'm curious about. Is that... So the Earth was over there. Okay, no matter what, it's not rotatable. That kind of sucks a little bit, but that's not too bad. That is quite cool that those are a different direction to the way that these are over here. That is very cool. In fact, that's something I've always wanted, is the ability to make angled planks and make them go in different directions. Because if you have a look, they always run east to west. They never go north to south. And I would love to be able to make them run north to south. I think that would just be totally cool. Can I pick that up, please? There we go. And then these guys in here. In fact, we could even probably just switch it up with something else at some stage, like a spruce one or something there. Yeah, that looks a little bit too wide for a desk, but just as a desk, simple. I know it's incredibly ahead of its time, this one, but I had to do it. Now, maybe something like this. Nah, carpets belong on the floor. I've learned something today. So we'll just go ahead and put the carpets in. Now, what I'm thinking is I want to keep it, because this is meant to be a pirate ship, and it needs to be a little bit doomy and gloomy inside. So the bed is also going to be gray. The walls, I'm debating whether or not they should stay gray. Maybe we'll go ahead and make a interior wall. Like, that wall's on the outside, and we could do something, for instance, just like this. This is just a simple solution to it. But doing something like that to make the walls inside look a little bit different could look quite cool, but we'll see what turns out with this. Really, I just want to complete a room on the ship so it feels a little bit more complete to me. And here is something every pirate certainly needs: their parrot along with them. Now, what I'm going to do is make the long and extremely annoying trip of carrying a parrot on your shoulder without it falling off all the way to the ship. Look at it. It looks kind of cool like that, but that is not what it is. Come on, one more chunk. There we go. Look at that. I'm just loving these views so much. Let me tell you, this has been quite the adventure, and we have hardly even moved. Just getting this thing into a boat, I think this is the best way for me to get it across the water. And let me tell you this, that wasn't even the easiest thing to do either. Just getting it into a darn boat. All right, so hopefully this can work out for us. I think we'll take out that one over there. Not that. But hey, you know what? That will do just fine. Out. All right, so back there. And if we break this, can the parrot please... Oh, I can't... Yeah, you can get in there, parrot. I can't. Maybe there. Yep. And now as long as... Okay, well, I'm gonna do it. As long as I don't go straight down, I think I am all right. Hop on the shoulders, please, parrot. There we go. Just double check. We're at it. Let's see how we go. And they're still on the shoulder. I thought maybe that little bit of a drop might have done something. But look at this. By the way, look, it just... While we walk around, let's walk around with this parrot on our shoulder. How much of an awesome atmosphere do we have on this boat? I'm absolutely, like, so happy about 1.14. This is the atmosphere update. This wasn't the village update. This was the atmosphere update. These new blocks are totally awesome. Like, look at this. I thought that could look cool as though it was a bunch of ropes around the bottom of that mast. I thought that would be pretty cool. Of course, we got these here. And we can still add in these crates being the note blocks. I think that looks pretty cool. Are we going to? No, I think half blocks still count. And how do we do this? Maybe what I'll do, let's just take these out. By the way, take a look at that. I thought these looked really cool. Look at the dead coral. I thought that looked quite like it was on a, as though we had Wallpaper. Can I jump and get this thing off? No. Please, parrot. You gotta cooperate with me, buddy. We'll try this out here. Let's just do that. Sit and get on your perch. Ooh, that's actually gonna work quite well. So there, and is that on the middle? That's kind of flying. Okay, maybe using an iron bar would have been something slightly better. Hey, that makes complete sense to me. If you ask me, that is exactly how I've seen every parrot sitting on a perch. If I break that, does it drop? No. What about one of these guys? Still floating. Well, that is quite a pity. But either way, everything's kind of looking cool. I guess I'll just switch that over to an iron bar, maybe. All right, second thoughts on this. Why don't we go ahead and add a little cage in here? Because I've got these extra blocks, being these acacia trapdoors, which were the trapdoors that were around the ugly lamp a bit earlier. But now we do this, do that there, and we should hopefully have a little cage for this little guy. Yeah, sorry, buddy. You're gonna be trapped in here. It's the way it has to be. Do I trust you to not fly away? Well, kind of, but not really. Can I not place something on here? I can place something under there. But why can't I place something? I guess the bird might be in the way of me placing one on top of that. Maybe if we go here. Why do I do that to myself every time? Yeah, we'll just stop. Yeah, I suppose the bird might be in the way. We might have to just piston it over. But hey, the overall idea still counts. Can we put a full block in there? No, definitely not. Yeah, the bird's bounding box must just be in the way of that. But either way, man, this is awesome. I am just so happy with these barrels, these crates over here. Look at that. Just adding in that, just a row of these things. Perfect. I love it so much. Okay, it is now finally time to get serious. We've got ourselves a diamond hoe, and you know that means we're real about this. It's one of the things which I've been waiting forever to do. Get a proper diamond hoe in this game and go crazy with it. In fact, I am so serious about this thing. In my last world we checked out a little bit earlier, made a mending unbreaking 3 diamond hoe for all of that land that we did there, and that was not even enough for the amount of hoes that we did go through, the amount of times we had to go and mend it. It was crazy. In fact, that's like a thing we could honestly do a Q&A is how long did it take you to build those wheat fields? Oh man, forever. Trust me, there is just so much stuff about that place which you wouldn't even notice happened just to get that place to work. It was crazy. And before I drive you guys crazy with all this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead, speed it up. We will then come back, and I think what I'm going to do, which is something I kind of don't want to do too much in this world, is AFK for a bit. But we will probably need to just AFK. For the sake of me finishing this episode, I'm gonna have to just AFK and let these things grow, because I don't want to end the episode and have none of this grown here. I want to see what this farm looks like. And the other thing also, by the way, is I grew the melons and pumpkins, but I don't want to plant melons and pumpkins here. Maybe a bit further along on the path out that way, we might be able to do them, but really I think for now, we'll just keep it nice and simple. And also, by the way, the other thing, which I know is inevitably going to be a question, is why don't I make water sources in this place? And the reason why I don't want to put water blocks around here is really just because I think that they look ugly. I know we can try and cover them up with certain bits and pieces. I just don't like the look of them, honestly, so that's why we're not going to do it. And the other thing is, it is going to take a bit longer for me to AFK, but I've actually got all the time in the world to wait, so it's really not a big deal for that. So there we go. There's your answer to that. Now, you know what? This is just something I said last time when we were building those wheat fields. How cool would it be to just have these stuck like this without having to put in like any cheats or whatever to keep these this way? If there was a potion of maybe anti-aging or something like that, so you could keep, how about like little baby cows into calves, keep them like that and keep animals in their baby form. That would be totally cool. I think would be super cool. So that would be something that could also work on crops, like a potion. You just apply it and they stay like that. That'll be super cool. All right, I've got an even better plan for this. I'm going to still AFK, but to speed it up, I'm going to put in the water sources because of one very important reason. That is all the carrots that we have. That's all the potato, and that is all the beetroot. Pretty sad, I know. So what I want to do is, I mean, we still have a whole bunch of seeds, wheat seeds. So I can put the wheat in. Actually, probably make a wheat patch over here. So we got wheat, then colors. I think that'd be cool. Exception there, no colors. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pop these little water spots down, and then I'm going to go after that, and I'm going to collect all of the stuff, do another round, and hopefully at that stage we would have filled up a lot more of this area, but this is going to take a while. All right, this has been a very long time after the last clip. We've gone ahead and, might I just add, very, very long time. We've gone ahead and done I think maybe three iterations of going through this. I've removed the water blocks. I apparently did not remove the water source that I was getting all the water blocks from. But what we've ended up doing is getting a whole load of it done. Now, of course, for the sake of this episode just being finished, because it's taken fairly long for me to get to this point, we'll go ahead and call this at this stage. And then, of course, we'll wait and collect more beetroot, collect more of the stuff that we're lacking. But man, how cool does that look? I'm so happy. As I said in the beginning, I wanted there to be a bunch of color coming into that, and I think we do have it. We'll eventually get a cool path going here. Yeah, that is very, very cool. I like that a lot. I really do. And also, a quick hoe update. Second one. We've got the first one, second one there, and we may very well need to go through the third one. One little tip, by the way, here's something which I gotta tell you, it's an awesome tip, and I didn't believe it until my stream told me about it, that if you used an efficiency item of whatever, not efficiency, sorry, fortune 3, you get more drops of that, not just of blocks. I always thought it was just of blocks, but I assumed the tile entities, which is what these are, didn't do the same thing. They totally do. You've got to give it a go if you want to gather a lot of seeds and stuff. So I went ahead and did that a few times as well, and that is what we've got. I'm very happy, and I'm very, very excited for what we got coming up. But for today, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and I am looking very forward to what we've got coming in terms of structures for this place. Either way, guys, I will see you in the next one.